The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is a great camera, but like all cameras, it has its limitations. Today, I'd like to talk about some of those. The Osmo Pocket 3 lacks an optical zoom function. Personally, I find that a limitation. It has digital zoom, and you can see examples of how the digital zoom works. I think it does degrade the image quality to a certain extent, sort of the same way that zooming in digitally on your phone also degrades the image a little bit because you're cropping in on the sensor. So you're losing some of your image quality, where if you've got an optical zoom, the lens is actually doing the work like a telescope. It's able to zoom in and your optics are doing the work for you. The fact that it doesn't have that capability means that I need to have another camera with me. I'm going to have something that has real optical telephoto capabilities. That's just an issue for me. It may not be for other people, but for me, optical zoom is very important. DJI, I think in their own documentation, warned against getting water on this camera, and I don't want to take the chance because it's a beautiful camera and I don't want to get this thing wet and get maybe humidity inside of it and start to affect the electrical components. And it's got a built-in battery as well in the handle, so I don't want to take the chance on it. So rather than using my Osmo Pocket 3 over the last 3 days, in a kind of a crucial moment for me, because this is an amazing event, maybe a once in 10 or 15 or 20 year storm, and I want to be able to document it. So instead of being able to use the Osmo Pocket 3 for that, which it would have been ideal for if it were weather sealed enough to handle it, I was using my GoPro Hero 10 Black and also sometimes my iPhone 14. It's in a case and I can be kind of careful about the way I use it, and it's pretty safe to use even in some pretty harsh conditions. This camera is really great for a lot of documenting your everyday life, except when your environment gets harsh, you get a lot of rain, snow, dust. It's not a good plan to be using your Osmo Pocket 3 in those kinds of conditions. If you're considering buying the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I would highly suggest that you buy their protection plan, because the limitation I'm talking about right now is the fact that this is a tiny gimbal camera that you're going to carry around with you. The potential for something going wrong with this camera compared to many others is pretty high. Like, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of things can break, a lot of ways this could get damaged, and having the protection plan is just going to give you some peace of mind. The limitation is that to make something as amazing as this, with the capabilities that this has, as small as it is, it's going to have some potential for damage. I would say another limitation of this camera is that the low light performance is incrementally better than some of the other cameras that I own. I wouldn't call it a gigantic step forward, but it's better. For sure, it's better than my GoPro Hero 10 Black, that's for certain. But as far as my iPhone 14, yeah, it's a little better than my iPhone, but truth be told, my iPhone is pretty great. Every camera is limited by low light. That's a problem for any camera. It's better in low light than a lot of cameras I have. But the truth is, I think for anybody who is serious about filmmaking, they're going to recognize that you get to a certain point where low light, unless you're in very, very specific situations, low light is best solved by adding light to your scene. Let me give you an example. This is my GoPro Hero 10 Black. The way to be able to fix any situation with low light with my GoPro Hero 10 Black is just to add a video light to the camera. So let me see if I can turn this on. There's the solution for using the GoPro Hero 10 Black in a darker scene. just add a video light to the camera. Same thing with the Osmo Pocket 3. If it gets too dark, rather than just depending on the low light capabilities of the camera, I just have to add some light to the scene. Another limitation of this camera is that you are going to have to learn your ninja walk. As you're walking with the camera, there's subtle up and down motion that you'll notice on a lot of gimbals. I've noticed it on several gimbals I've used. The cure for that is you need to learn this very smooth ninja walk, they call it, where you're taking small steps and you're trying to keep yourself very steady as you move. That's how you kind of smooth that out. And there are probably lots of tutorials on YouTube about the ninja walk. Just look it up and check it out for yourself. There is an f2 lens on this camera, which means that it can give you beautiful blurred out backgrounds. The problem with that, however, is that this is a fixed aperture lens, so it's only fixed to f2. You can't sharpen the background by stopping down the lens. That's called stopping down the lens, where you would go from, say, f2 to maybe f4 or maybe to f8 or something like that, so that you could make the focal plane wider and you could make things sharper further away from the camera, closer to the camera, and in between, so everything would start to look a little more sharp. You can't do that with this camera because it's a fixed aperture f2 lens. So it's a little bit of a limitation. It really is. All right, so I think that's about all I have to say. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is a great camera. For what it is created to do, it excels. As a vlogging camera, it's amazing. Is this camera a perfect camera? Can it do everything well? No, of course not. It has its limitations like every other camera, but what it is made to do, it does extremely well. So thank you for watching my video. I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel, and if you hit the like, that would be awesome because it really helps my channel grow. Thank you very much. Have a great day and hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.